And the Croatian Bodrozic folds his trash under the gun. And Iroolf back-to-back pocket pairs, improving now to the 10s. And does go for the min raise to 120k. Oh, a little bit of extra meat, actually. That might be 140, is it? Yeah, he makes it 140 to go. So if you want to know what the chips mean, the reds are 100k, the yellows are 25k, and those oranges are 5k. And wow, look at this. We've got a confrontation early doors, and Ch.Kempf actually lurking there on the button with king-queen suited, facing a raise from early position and a shove from a short stack in the hijack. You feel the king-queen suited not going to be quite enough hand to commit, coming in cold from the button here. And he does get out the way. I think that's a nice discipline lay down there. And we are going to see a likely collision here between the jacks and the 10s, unless Iroolf is going to find a hero fold. Doesn't look like that's in his interest. Just counting out the call. Does. So lots of the hands that the button may tank fold are going to interact with R.Kerekes' range, and he's just going to be hoping to see an ace-king or a pocket nines here, but unfortunately the bad news is he's up against the jacks, and it's a really nice spot for the Hungarian. Jacks versus 10s, 75-25. We did see a jack folded, I believe, so equity shifting slightly in the favor of the Swiss player. And it does come ace 9-8, so some backdoor straight draws for Iroolf. 7 gives him more outs. Currently just the 2 outs with 2 cards to come, and there's the 10. Wow! The equity shifter in the favor of the Swiss player, as now he needs to fade a queen or a 7 or a jack. And it's the king, so we've got an early elimination. The Hungarian bowing out, got it in with the best of it, and unfortunately hits the showers in 9th place. So second hand, and already we are down to 8 players here at the Spadepoker Tour main event. Unfortunately. I.Abdullaiev with the ace-5. Probably best off fighting another day and hoping for a better holding in the next orbit or so. He's going to still have a smidgen of fold equity. He's going to have to pay 200k in the next 2 hands, which is going to have him down to 5 big blinds, which is still enough to get a shove through.
Ace 9, 160. Fold 6 1. Fold 6 2.
So Ch.Kempf continuing to apply the pressure. He's got the pocket 2s this time. Bodrozic in the cutoff with jack 10 suited. And he makes it 600k by the looks of things. And that gets rid of the garbage behind in the blinds. Of 700k, so he puts in over a third of his stack. Ch.Kempf not really left with much choice but to fold here. So this is a really nicely timed piece of aggression from Iroolf here, capitalizing on the wide opening range of the opponent, but also the semi-capped peeling range of Bodrozic. And Bodrozic is going to peel one off with the jack 10 here. Wow, we're going to go to 1.8 million in the middle, and Bodrozic has 570k behind. This is a bit of a blow up. Going to a 3rd pot, stack to pot ratio on the river. And he flops. And Bodrozic here in all sorts of hurt. He does stack it off with the jack 10 here. And the Croatian, you feel, has made a couple of big mistakes here, just peeling the open from the chip leader, then cold calling again the 3-bet behind, going to a small stack to pot ratio, and then check calling and not donk jamming himself. So he's going to have the jack, the 10, or the 8 that aren't the heart. 6 outs once for Bodrozic to stay alive here in the Spadepoker Tour main event. And it could be a complete donation for Iroolf, who does hold clean with the 6 on the river. That's going to be the end of it for the Croatian. He bows out in 8th place, taking home 4,660 Swiss francs.
One fold. Raise sit to 180. Fold 4, fold 5, fold 6.
Steiner looking to open one up. Might be faced with some resistance from Abdullaiev, who's got that tricky ace-jack in the small blind. He is going to shove versus Steiner, taking his chance here with the 980k, which is 12 big blinds. This is always going to be opponent dependent, do you feel? Wow, he's going to call with the king 9. That is an outrageous raise call on the final table here versus a short stack that's going to be really strong. I think ace-jack is going to be probably the worst hand that Abdullaiev would commit his stack with here. So we're just going to be dominated so often by ace-king, hands like 10s plus, 9s that we, you know, it's a rather bizarre raise call here with the king 9. And that's such a tough one for Abdullaiev to have to take here. Was really hoping just to get that one through and pick up the 4.5 big blinds out there, but almost a sort of shimmer of embarrassment on the face of Steiner as he sees the fact that he was indeed miles behind. But there is the 2 pair on the river, and that's going to be the end of it for the Ukrainian. Unfortunate there to run into a player that purports that decides to raise call the king 9. Not something that you expect to see on a final table very often. At the final table of the Spadepoker Tour in Liechtenstein.
Sit to fold, sit 4, fold.
Not been shy to get in the mix. Opens it up with the ace-king offsuit.
160. 6, fold. Call, sit 9.
Kempf peeling from the small blind with the ace-5, and wow, this could spell disaster for Luchkou here, as he's going to view this as quite a decent squeeze jam candidate, and he is going to jam, but it's very standard stuff. You've got Hoffmann, who's been certainly one of the more active players on the table, opening from the hijack. The chip leader peels the small blind, which is going to be a fairly capped range, and ace-jack suited is just going to be so much hand there to rifle in and hope for the best. And unfortunately, in this situation, he finds the snap call from Hoffmann, and the Swiss player has the Belarusian all at sea here with the ace-king versus the ace-jack. The Belarusian looking for the jack. Oh, wow, and there it is. Ace-jack 8. His hot run continues. He's certainly one of the form players in Europe right now in the mid-stakes events. Luchkou cashing for a lot of money over the last couple of months, and he needs to fade a king or the 8 for the chop. Oh, the cold hard king on the river sends the Belarusian home, and that's just signifies the sickness once again of tournament poker. You get it in bad, you get ahead, you think, wow, I'm looking at a huge double up here, right back in the thick of things with 6 left in a huge main event, and unfortunately Hoffmann under the gun with the 9-4. Not going to be getting in the thick of things. Queen 5 off for Graupner. He's also going to relinquish that one. And queens for Kempf, who's had a tough time of it on the final table, coming in with that big stack and a big chip lead. Now right in the thick of things, in the middle of the pack. A very welcome time to pick up the ladies here. Looks like he might face some resistance from the small blind. Yeah, Steiner's got the Jack-10 suited here. 29 big blinds facing an open. Lots of options on the table here. Calling, 3-betting non-all-in, and jamming also is a play that works quite well, getting a lot of dominating hands to fold, such as the King-Jack offs of the world, Ace-10 off. Probably unlikely to raise calls such a large amount of chips at this stage in the tournament too. Wow, what a cooler flop that is. Jack 7 as he almost gets... Whoa. Almost jumps out of his seat with
That's 225 sit.
jubilation at seeing that flop. And he's going to lead into Kempf here for around about half pot. This is quite unorthodox.
Call sit 9.
I guess what Steiner's saying on the flop is that his range is quite centric around Broadway cards. So like Queen Jack off, Jack-10 suited, King Jacks. And so he goes for another bet of 550k, and it's bad news for Kempf here, who's going to be bleeding unless he can find the queen on the river. Ideally for him, the queen of diamonds. And the discomfort written all over his face here. Does he elect to go for the block bet here to try and target those hands like pocket tens, aces, kings, queens?
150.
And a nice discipline lay down in the end from Kempf, who's facing some really uncomfortable and annoying situations.
Darf ich noch etwas bestellen, bitte?
Raise 250, sit 5.
Danke noch vielmals.
Fold 6. Fold 9. So, there is a raise 250.
Darf ich ein stilles Wasser und Kaffee haben, bitte?
Jawohl.
And call set 4. Yes. Check. And 4. That's 5, 310. Fold set 2. Call set 4. Check 4. Check. sit for 900. Call. All out.
Ja, check.
Ah, okay, alles klar.
Hold the city. Raise 240. Sit 4. Hold. 5. Hold 6. Call. Two players. Check. Sit 9. Check 4. Check 5. Let's sit 9. 175. Hold 4. Call 5. And up. Check. Sit 9. Sit 5. 1,000,005. Fold
6 Flaschen
6.
hätte ich gelangt.
Daily kurz. Ja, sicher nicht. Auf jeden Fall.
All sit 4.
Subjektiv, gell?
All sit 5. All in sit 6. All sit
Cool.
9. Call sit 2. All in call.
Regi,
Interessiert ihn nicht.
interessiert ihn nicht.
Hast du schon wieder bekommen?
Ah, sorry. Ah, okay, sorry, mach noch weiter. Sorry.
Kannst du nachher im Fernsehen schauen. Genau, das habe ich auch.
Turn. Okay.
Das war es hat stark gewirkt im Call.
Ja, das ist ja recht schnell. Schnell, schnappig. Ja.
Der muss.
sits for 250. Call sit 5. Call sit 8. Done. Call sit 2. Heads up. That's sit for 160. Raise 375 sit 2. Call sit 4. Check sit 2. That's sit 4. 480. Raise sit 2. Raise 2. Five. All in sit 4. Call sit 2. All in call.
Flop später.
Iroolf with the King 5-0 now needs to decide, do I want to pay the next set of blinds or am I just going to shove the King high here four-handed? He does go for the aggressive option. And Hoffmann with the King Jack, interesting decision. He's just going to snap fold. He's going to be ahead of a lot of hands there, but doesn't want to run into any kind of holdings behind, such as the King Queen here in the small blind. Ch.Kempf.
Call sit 8.
Goes for the one-chip call. Steiner not going to be able to do anything with the 7-6, so it's going to be off to the races between King Queen and King 5. King 5 for Iroolf running into the better king. And what will the flop bring? Is there going to be any dramatics here? Can Iroolf from Switzerland find a way back in? There is the 5, but also 2 clubs at his mercy, so needs to fade a club or a queen now. About a 50-50 flip. That's a clean 3 of diamonds on the turn. Needs to fade once again the club or the queen on the river. But you do see the Queen of Hearts fanned by the dealer, and that's going to be the end of it for Iroolf, who fought valiantly. Unfortunately, did run into a cooler situation there top pair with the flush draw versus the set.
T.Open final table.
Result. 9.
And 8-4 off, though, surely not going to be cutting the mustard here. Just quite happy to let the other two fight it out. Ace-Queen suited for Kempf in the small blind with 30 blinds, or just over 30, likely to be opening here. Looking to derive some value from the chip leader, who's going to be defending pretty wide.
450 raise 38.
And he's got Jack-10 suited, so we could be seeing some fireworks here on a range of different boards. Wow, what a flop. Gut shot, overcard, and the nut flush draw for Kempf and middle pair for Steiner. Follows up with the continuation bet of what looks to be around a third pot. Fairly standard stuff so far. Yeah, a little bit of a size down, in fact. Just hoping to get any kind of continues from our opponent. We've just got them in such a difficult situation with most of their range, having so much equity. Is he going to be able to improve on the turn? No, it's the 10 for Steiner, turning trips. Steiner has 83% equity, and if the river were to be a jack, then we could be seeing all of the chips moving over the line here. Kempf is going to go for the double barrel here, looking to target hands like pocket 5s, pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s. Knows that he's not going to be able to get a king to fold, of course, so feels like the smaller size is going to do the job here. Gets the call from Steiner. And we do...
750 bets Sydney.
Yeah, and he's going to go for the third barrel, and this is... I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure exactly what we're trying to get to fold at this stage. All of the hands that fold, we're going to be ahead of. We're not going to get a king to fold. We're obviously not going to get a 10 to fold. Most of the 6x, the way that Steiner's played so far, is unlikely to be continuing to the turn, the river. So a bit of a hopeful stab into the pot here from Kempf. Maybe just a little bit tilted that his monster combo draw didn't get there, and kind of donating a little bit of chips towards the end of the pot, you feel, would have been. So Kempf on the button, folds the Jack-9. Over to Steiner here with the Queen-9 and the small blind, likely to be V-pipping in some form. It's going to go for a min raise by the looks of it. And Hoffman with the 6s here, 4.5 big blinds out there also, 700k would be a 20% increase to his stack if he does get it through. Just going to play the conservative option. We've seen so few jams pre-flop. Players just really uncomfortable with getting all of the chips in, not looking to potentially run into the top of their opponent's range, but does. Steiner with a strong kicker for his middle pair is going to value bet the flop. And he's definitely going to be facing some resistance either in the form of a call or a raise. Hoffman continuing to play this rather pot control kind of small ball style of his. allows the 10 of diamonds to peel off on the turn, and it's a bad card for Steiner now.
Check C2.
Reduced with just third pair. Reduced to third pair now.
That's C5. 475.
Looks like Steiner isn't considering folding at all. He is going to call, completely drawing dead at this stage versus the sixes, and has pretty limited equity versus the weak ace-x that could be in his opponent's range. Wow, quads once again for Hofmann. That's the second time on the final table. Flopped quad threes earlier and won a medium-sized pot. And it's a pretty good river for him because a lot of the hands like King Jack, Queen Jack now miss. Some of the floats, backdoor diamonds have missed. And Steiner is in fact going to lead for 300k as kind of a blocker bet, just hoping to freeze up the action of his opponent.
Raise all in, C5.
And it is going to be the all-in, looking to play for it all, hoping that his opponent somehow has an ace in this line. Gets the bad news though, the snap fold from Steiner, and that's a lovely pickup from Hofmann there. Good timing with his pocket sixes, electing. So Kempf here with the 3-deuce, likely to fold. Again, just wants to allow this collision between the two shorter stacks, and Steiner with the fives has his opponent on the ropes here on the short stack. I believe that Hofmann has a total of about 800, 700 left, so very easy decision here, just sliding them all in. And what does Hofmann find? King deuce. Yeah, he's going to likely have to go with this one. He's only got 3.5 big blinds, and he's going to does commit the rest of them. Slightly annoyed by the situation that he's run into here, getting really short and having to commit it with King deuce, but really no other decision to be made at this stage. So it's going to be the king and the king only that could get him out of trouble. Maybe some trip deuces, maybe some clubs or diamonds. Let's see what the flop brings. Okay, so a deuce, backdoor clubs as well in play for Hofmann, looking for a king, a deuce, or running clubs. Certainly some options. Just left with the king or the deuce now. Heading to the river here. Big spot for Steiner and Hofmann. Hofmann looking to double up and keep himself alive here. Would be back to 8 big blinds and cannot find it. Steiner with those fives, the magical pocket fives. That's been the hand of the tournament for him. Finds the elimination, and Hofmann, the well-accredited Swiss player, 11th in the all-time money list.
Raise 500, 67.
Here we go then, some action. So King Jack versus Ace 10, 2 big hands for both players here. Could the money be going in? Small 3-bet from Steiner, so definitely going to see the King Jack continue here. He's actually just going to shove it in. Wow. Don't feel like Steiner's going to be able to fold the Ace 10 heads up. Let's see if he has the minerals to call it off. Mulling over the decision now, you can see the stress. Chewing that chewing gum with venom. Wondering, am I going to be able to call it off here? What sort of hands am I dominating? Many in a heads-up format, especially with the small 3-bet as well. Doesn't look particularly strong. So hands like Ace 9, Ace 8 suited, likely to jam. There's some pocket pairs in there as well. And of course, the broadways, King Jack, King Queen, Queen Jack. King 10 if you're lucky. Oh my god, he's going to fold the ace 10, so it's tough viewing here from Steiner, just really waving the white flag at almost every available opportunity, just allowing Kempf to...
Raise 625, C3.
Steiner now opening it up, and two pretty strong hands heads up here. Ace King versus 8-7 suited. Wow, what a flop for Kempf. Inside straight flush draw, pair, and of course the flush draw. So huge flop for him. Steiner's been quite... Is he going to c-bet here? Kind of getting a bit married to that ace king. The board texture just doesn't favor him whatsoever, but is going to take a stab at it.
Raise all in C7.
Just going to shove. Thinks his opponent, when he bets this board, is going to have a reasonable holding here, and looking to...
All C3. Raise 575.
So a raise to 575 from Steiner.
1,400,000 raise, 6-7.
Did find a fold in a 4-bet pot with ace-10 earlier, just 20 or so big blinds effective, and this time you feel like the 10s is going to be way too much meat on the bone to elect to do anything else but to jam over this 3-bet.
All in C3. Call C3.
All in, and it's going to be a snap call, so cards are going to be on their backs. Ace-King for Kempf, the shorter of the two stacks, versus Steiner looking to get the job done here with the two 10s. Got a little bit of paparazzi in the background with the phones out. Getting both players on their feet. Huge flip in the form of their poker careers, that's for sure. Going to be one of the biggest hands they've ever played by some margin. So ace-king versus 10s. To the flop we go. Queen 7-4. Ace-king with the king of clubs, so some backdoor potential for Kempf here. 28% equity, 2 overs, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. And there's the jack, so the 10 now, also an option. Ace, king or 10 to fade for Steiner. And then he will be the Spadepoker Tour main event champion here in Liechtenstein. One card to come. Can he fade the ace, king, or the 10? There it is. The 9 completes the board. 10's holding up versus the ace, king. And look at the jubilation on the face of Steiner there. Christian Kempf coming in second for 23,500 Swiss francs. It's a great payday for him. He's going to be feeling a little bit sore about that because I feel like he had the upper hand in that heads-up match and was just kind of coming back into it, but unfortunately gets cooled out of there. A little sip of the Coke, and there it is. Peter Steiner, 36,900 Swiss francs plus the 10K ticket. A payday of what purports to be over 50,000 euros of equivalent, and what a result for Steiner there. Right.
In general, I'm happy with my play. For sure, I have to some hands that I have to recover if I played right. For sure, I didn't play every hand right, so I will analyze this hand and play it the next time better for sure. But in general, I'm happy with my game.
And are you a hobby player or are you playing for a living?
And I am a hobby player, so I just work 60%, and the rest I try to play playing poker, and yeah, but I work.
And what's your biggest win so far?
This one is pretty close to the biggest one. Now my second biggest is at 22K. So
Nice. Congratulations once again, and I hope we see each other again.
for sure, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.
So congratulations, you're our new champion of Spadepoker Tour. How does it feel?
It feels pretty amazing, and kind of surprised that already was able to win such a tournament. Yeah.
And what's your biggest win so far?
Actually, I didn't play poker for like 5 years because I had a job. I just didn't have the time to play poker for 5 years, and now I have time, and since 5 weeks I'm back to playing poker.
And what do you think about your play today? Would you play, for example, some hands differently?
I think I still have to adjust to the range and to the position, but mostly I think I'm doing good and keep progressing.
What do you think about the final 9? Were there like tough opponents for you, or?
Yes, there were some tough ones. I think, of course, Hofmann and but I think I got lucky with I had like 4 times pocket 5s and always got lucky with them.
And what about your family? Does they support you?
Yeah, I think a few of them are watching. They watch the stream, and also a lot of friends are watching the stream right now.
Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. I hope we see each other again soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.